How Ray Bourque lived is truly sad. After 21 incredible seasons with the Boston Bruins, this legendary defenseman had to leave the only NHL team he ever knew just to chase his ultimate dream. Picture this. You spend over 2 decades being the heart and soul of a franchise, breaking records, winning individual awards, and leading your team as captain for 12 years. Yet the one thing that matters most in hockey keeps slipping away. That was Ray Bourque's reality until March 2000 when he made the hardest decision of his career. The moment that changed everything came on June 9th, 2001. After the Colorado Avalanche beat the New Jersey Devils in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, Captain Joe Sakic received the trophy from the commissioner. But instead of taking the traditional victory skate around the rink, Sakic did something nobody expected. He immediately handed the cup to Ray Bourque, telling him to take the captain's solo skate. This unscripted act became one of the most heartwarming moments in sports history. Bourque had finally won his first Stanley Cup after 22 grueling seasons, the longest wait for any first-time winner in the trophy's history. Ray Bourque entered the NHL in 1979 as an 18-year-old defenseman, which was remarkable since that position usually takes several seasons to master. From day one, he was special. Over his incredible career, he became the all-time points leader among NHL defensemen with 1,579 points, including 40 goals and 1,069 assists in 1,612 regular season games. But here's what made Bourque truly unique. Experts actually considered him an even better defender than an offensive player, especially during the second half of his career when he chose to focus more on defensive play. His trophy case tells an amazing story. Bourque won the Norris Trophy 5 times as the league's best defenseman, but he was also runner-up 5 additional times. Think about that consistency over 2 decades. He twice finished as runner-up for the Hart Memorial Trophy, the league's most valuable player award, losing to Wayne Gretzky in 1988 and Mark Messier in 1990. These MVP-level seasons highlight just how dominant he was individually. What do you think made Ray Bourque so special as a player? Was it his incredible skill, his leadership, or his character? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this story of perseverance and ultimate triumph, make sure to subscribe for more incredible hockey stories like this one. Early in his career, Bourque showed the humility that would define him. When the Bruins retired Phil Esposito's number 7, Bourque was wearing that number. Without hesitation, he changed to number 77, willingly giving up the single digit during the retirement ceremony. This moment established his deep respect for franchise history and foreshadowed the selfless recognition he would receive much later. The Bruins made Bourque their captain, and he held that role for 12 seasons from 1988 to 2000, the longest captaincy tenure in Boston history. Under his leadership, the team reached the Stanley Cup Final twice in 1988 and 1990. Both times they faced the Edmonton Oilers dynasty, and both times they lost. The 1988 Oilers team was considered an offensive juggernaut and arguably one of the best teams of all time. Despite Bourque's incredible individual efforts, including his physical defense aimed at slowing down Wayne Gretzky, the Bruins were swept. The 1988 series included a memorable power failure at Boston Garden during Game 4, forcing the game to be suspended and replayed in Edmonton, where Gretzky scored the series-winning goal in his final game as an Oiler. The 1990 final loss to the same Oilers team confirmed that while Bourque was performing at an MVP level, the Bruins simply couldn't overcome Edmonton's superior depth and talent. These failures weren't Bourque's fault, but they weighed heavily on him and the entire organization. By the late 1990s, the Bruins had entered what they called complete rebuilding mode. Key players like Cam Neely had suffered career-ending injuries, and the team was struggling badly. During the 1999-2000 season, Boston was likely to miss the playoffs for just the second time since 1967. The fanbase and management recognized a painful truth. The organization had failed to capitalize on Bourque's peak years. This recognition created a unique situation where everyone felt Bourque deserved a Stanley Cup, and his eventual trade request wouldn't be seen as betrayal, but as an earned opportunity for career fulfillment. In early March 2000, during the league's general managers meetings in Palm Springs, California, 39-year-old Ray Bourque made his decision. He approached Bruins general manager Harry Sinden with a trade request driven by the realistic understanding that he had only 1 or 2 good years left to seriously compete for a championship. The Bruins were clearly years away from contention. Bourque laid out 2 specific conditions for any trade. First, he wanted to join a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. Second, he preferred staying relatively close to his home in Boxford, Massachusetts, to avoid disrupting his 3 teenage children's lives. Initially, teams like the New Jersey Devils and Philadelphia Flyers seemed like perfect fits because of their proximity to Boston. However, the Philadelphia deal collapsed late in the process, and other interested teams like the Detroit Red Wings and Dallas Stars were ultimately disappointed. The Colorado Avalanche, located 2,000 miles from Boxford, offered the most compelling package. The fact that Bourque was willing to sacrifice his desire for geographic proximity showed just how committed he was to winning the cup above everything else. On March 6, 2000, the trade was finalized. The Avalanche acquired Bourque and veteran forward Dave Andreychuk in exchange for forward Brian Rolston, defenseman Martin Grenier, center Sami Paulson, and a first-round draft pick. Avalanche general manager Pierre Lacroix immediately called Bourque the greatest defenseman of all time and praised his expected contribution of presence and charisma to the team. The reaction in Boston was overwhelmingly positive. General manager Harry Sinden made sure the trade honored Bourque's 20-plus seasons of service, stating that they limited themselves to teams where Bourque would have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. This was rare. Management sacrificed potentially higher returns from non-contenders to fulfill their players' personal goal. Boston fans supported the move because Bourque was joining a Western Conference team with no deep rivalry with the Bruins. Bourque's adjustment to Colorado was immediate and successful. During the 2000-2001 season, his first full campaign with the Avalanche, the team won the President's Trophy with the league's best record of 52-16-10. He quickly integrated into the top defense pairing alongside Adam Foote, providing veteran leadership and consistent defensive play exactly as management had hoped. The 2001 playoff run validated Bourque's choice completely. The Avalanche swept the Vancouver Canucks in the first round, survived a difficult 7-game series against the Los Angeles Kings, then dismissed the St. Louis Blues in 5 games to reach the Stanley Cup final against the defending champion New Jersey Devils. The final was a grueling contest that went the full 7 games. In Game 3, Bourque proved his worth far beyond veteran presence by scoring the crucial game-winning goal, giving Colorado a pivotal 2-1 series lead. His professionalism and commitment to peak physical conditioning became evident throughout the series, but especially in the decisive Game 7. At 40 years old, Bourque logged an astounding 29:35 of ice time in Game 7, more than any other skater on either team except his defensive partner, Adam Foote. This exceptional workload in the highest pressure situation possible demonstrated that Bourque was a primary, vital architect of the 3-1 victory, not simply a feel-good story or narrative figurehead. Throughout the playoffs, Bourque's veteran presence was felt in every crucial moment. His ability to remain calm under pressure helped stabilize a young Avalanche team during their most challenging games. When the Kings pushed the series to 7 games in the second round, it was Bourque's steady defensive play that kept Colorado from collapsing. His experience from those heartbreaking finals losses in Boston had taught him exactly what it took to win at the highest level. The statistical impact tells only part of the story. Beyond his game-winning goal and massive ice time, Bourque's leadership in the locker room was invaluable. Teammates later spoke about how his presence changed the entire atmosphere of the team. They knew they were playing alongside hockey royalty, and that knowledge elevated everyone's performance. His work ethic in practice, his attention to detail during video sessions, and his willingness to mentor younger players created a championship culture that extended far beyond what any individual statistics could capture. After the final buzzer, the iconic moment unfolded. Joe Sakic received the Stanley Cup from Commissioner Gary Bettman, but immediately gave up the traditional captain's victory skate to hand the trophy directly to Bourque. Sakic recognized the profound significance of Bourque's 22-year pursuit and wanted him to have that special moment. The emotional weight was captured perfectly when cameras focused on Bourque's family, showing his child crying with joy, representing the personal cost and ultimate reward of his incredible journey. Having achieved his lifelong dream in the most celebrated fashion possible, Bourque announced his retirement shortly after. His final gesture was bringing the Stanley Cup back to Boston to share the victory with the city that had supported both his loyalty and his departure, providing symbolic closure for the Bruins fan base who had watched him chase this dream for over 2 decades. Bourque's legacy extends far beyond that magical moment. He consistently ranks among the greatest defensemen in NHL history, usually positioned just below Bobby Orr and Nicholas Lidstrom. While his 179 points stand as the all-time scoring record for defensemen, his reputation is built on his remarkable blend of offensive skill and defensive commitment sustained over 22 seasons. What made Bourque's achievement even more remarkable was the way he transformed his game throughout his career. Early on, he was known primarily as an offensive dynamo who could quarterback power plays and lead rushes from his own end. But as he matured, he consciously shifted his focus toward becoming a more complete defensive player. This evolution showed his incredible hockey intelligence and willingness to adapt his style for team success rather than personal glory. The institutional recognition of his impact is remarkable. Bourque is one of only 9 players whose jersey number has been retired by more than one team. Both the Boston Bruins and Colorado Avalanche retired his number 77, acknowledging 2 decades of defensive excellence in Boston and his vital contribution to Colorado's championship. Beyond hockey, Bourque's character shone through his charitable work. He won the King Clancy Memorial Trophy for humanitarian contributions and later received the Keith Magnuson Man of the Year Award for raising over $20 million for more than 1,000 different charities. This consistency of character explained why teammates like Joe Sakic and fans worldwide felt his ultimate victory was richly deserved. What aspect of Ray Bourque's story resonates most with you? His incredible loyalty to Boston, his willingness to sacrifice for a championship, or that magical moment when Sakic handed him the cup? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring hockey stories that show how perseverance and character can lead to the ultimate triumph.